In the desolate, sun-scorched sands of the Giza Plateau, where monumental structures of limestone and granite stood as eternal testaments to a vanished civilization, a chilling curse lingered. The Egyptian pyramids, vast and silent, were not just tombs for kings. They were spiritual engines, built to propel a pharaoh's soul to the heavens and to protect their sacred rest from all trespassers. To desecrate these places was to invite a curse born not of a single spirit, but of a profound spiritual disruption, the haunting of the Egyptian pyramids. This was a curse that slowly consumed the very identity of the transgressor, leaving them lost in a timeless, eternal desert. Our story begins in the late 19th century with Elias Croft, a British explorer driven by an obsessive quest for fame and fortune. Croft was a man of ambition, dismissing the ancient warnings and local legends about the pyramids as primitive superstition. He saw the pyramids not as sacred monuments, but as puzzles to be solved and vaults to be plundered. He was particularly obsessed with the rumored hidden burial chamber within the Great Pyramid, a place he was determined to find, no matter the cost. After years of relentless, reckless exploration, Croft and his team discovered a small, concealed passage leading to an antechamber within the Great Pyramid. Inside, they found not gold, but a series of inscriptions and a small, unremarkable statue. A statue of a forgotten royal official meant to house the spirit of the deceased. In a final, arrogant act of desecration, Croft smashed the statue, scoffing at the notion that a simple piece of stone could hold a soul. As Croft returned to England, a subtle, insidious change began to plague him. He found his memories blurring, his own identity slipping away. He would forget his own name, his profession, and his family, experiencing flashes of a different life, one of solemn rituals, ancient prayers, and an overwhelming devotion to a king he did not know. The cold, sterile air of his study would be replaced by the faint scent of incense and myrrh, and he would often wake in the dead of night, hearing the faint, mournful hum of a woman's lament. The true curse of the haunting of the Egyptian pyramids was a spiritual echo of a shattered identity. The pyramids, as spiritual conduits for the afterlife, were intensely sensitive to desecration. By smashing the statue and disrupting the spiritual balance, Croft had invited a profound curse. The curse was an insidious, psychological horror that slowly erased his sense of self and replaced it with the spiritual fragmentation and torment of the unquiet spirit he had released, turning him into a living host for the echoes of a broken existence. Driven to despair by his own mental decline and the terrifying fragments of memory that were not his own, Croft sought the counsel of a reclusive Egyptian scholar who understood the ancient ways. The scholar explained that Croft had not simply smashed a statue. He had shattered a sacred spiritual bond. The spirit, its identity and path to the afterlife violated, was now inflicting its own spiritual torment upon him. Only by restoring the sacred bond, by performing an act of true spiritual restitution, could he hope to reclaim his own self. Humbled and broken, Croft returned to Egypt. He entered the Great Pyramid alone. He found the place where the statue had been and knelt in solemn silence. He did not offer prayers to pagan gods, but spoke of recognition and remembrance, honoring the humanity and the tragic end of the forgotten official. He crafted a new statue, and, with tears streaming down his face, he placed it where the old one had stood, begging for forgiveness and acknowledging the sacredness of life and death. As he completed his act of restitution, a profound sense of peace washed over him. The spiritual corruption lifted, and his memories, though now tinged with a deep sense of sorrow and humility, returned. The haunting of the Egyptian pyramids, its sanctity restored, finally released its grip. Croft lived the rest of his life, not as an ambitious explorer, but as a quiet advocate for respectful archaeology, forever changed by the spiritual identity he had borrowed and then returned. The legend endures as a grim reminder that some curses are not brought by a single spirit, but by the violation of a sacred bond, ensuring that what you desecrate will eventually consume you from within. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.